So if you're anything like me, you've seen all the new AI video repurposing apps and tools popping up everywhere, and you're curious and probably skeptical. So I make long-form videos and podcasts for a living, and I've been looking for a tool that can repurpose all of these into short-form content for TikTok, YouTube, Shorts, Instagram Reels, whatever. We have an in-house video editor that we use, and we've used other teams, repurposing companies in the past, but I'm trying to answer this question of can and should I use a human to do this for me? And that's really the question I think we're all asking. And can it do it with quality? So I've already looked at all the tools that are out there and done all my research to save you a bunch of time and make a better decision. And what I did is I took the top 5 tools and really specifically looked at the top 3 tools and did a deep dive on them. I ran a 45-minute podcast episode through each of them. We're going to do a thorough comparison. I'm going to break down the tools into 4 categories: the quality of the clips or the snippets, the features that they have, how easy the apps are to use, and the value. I'm going to rank them from my favorite to my least favorite, and I'm going to give you the best option for a paid AI video editing tool and the best option for a free one, and I think they're actually both really good. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments, and if you're interested in any of the tools, just click the link in the description to check them out. All right, let's dive in. All right, so jumping into Vizard. After we have created our account or logged in, it's really easy to upload the clip. All we do is drag it and drop, and then within a few minutes, we've got this. So over here, it's given us 22 snippets, which the amount of snippets or clips that I found usable out of this was 6 out of 22, which was actually, like I mentioned, the best out of all these AI editing platforms. But anyway, 6 of them were usable, and that's just straight out of the box with AI. That's without having to do anything to them. Some more of them, a few more of them probably would be usable if I edited them, but I'm only counting ones that were like pretty much ready to go. So here's our things over here, and it gives you a little quality score in the top left. So 9.8, 9.8. And I found their quality score, their rating system, to be pretty accurate compared to some of the others. I really like the overall layout here to where you can preview your clips and then at a glance, look at the transcript to be able to tell, does it have the right context? Is this a good snippet? Because if you know the content, you can glance at the transcript and save yourself the time of having to scrub through all of the videos. And so let's see what happens if we go in and edit one. I'm just going to pick a random one, and we're going to hit edit. Here's our text editor. So this is where you're going to spend most of your time. So let's say the video started a little bit too late. All I got to do is highlight this and then click revert, and then bam. And then I can play the video from that point. Okay.
Not for you.
So super easy to do there. I can highlight, I can hit delete. So you're basically editing the video by text. Or let's say there's a part of the video where I'm like, oh, this would make a good snippet on its own. I can highlight that whole thing, or excuse me, come up here, highlight the whole thing, create clip. And come over here, and they've got lots of different styles and templates for the video. A bunch of different preset ones, or you can make your own custom template. But I like that. Text editor is super intuitive as well. So I can take a headline, resize it, make it bigger, boom. And then I really like how it's easy to like left align, center align, etc. Choose your different styles or build something custom with one of the fonts here. By the way, I'm just royally messing this video up by giving you a quick demo, but just want to show you what it's capable of. The goal is to not make it look super pretty right now. Say I drag this to center, boom. I could choose a background. I can blur the background, so basically a copy of the main video. It's pretty popular on social. If I come over here to brand, I can actually upload a logo to put in the corner. I can put an outro video. Let's say I have like an animated version of my logo or like a talking head outro. I can put that on the end of every video. So that's there, super easy. But yeah, what I really love about this is just the UI is very clean, very easy to use. And then for editing the video, which is where you're going to spend most of your time, spacebar works to pause and start, which sounds really basic, but I want that to work well. And then Control Z to undo work. So if I highlight this and I have deleted it, I say, oops, I don't want to do that. Command Z, Control Z, done. So that's nice. Now when I'm ready to export, I can go up here and then bam, exported successfully. Really love the way this works. This one gave me the It didn't give me the most clips, but it gave me the most usable clips. So 6 out of 22, that's about 27% of them were usable to me for what I'm doing. And yeah, as far as pricing, I feel like it's pretty affordable. If you're paying annually, it cuts the price in half, but $30 a month at the time of recording this to get rid of that watermark. It lets you export at 1080p and give you some more upload limits. I feel like that's a good value, and the ease of use and the quality for this far outweighs the slightly higher costs than some of the other ones, like compared to Opus for about $20 a month. But yeah, that's Vizard. If you like it, click the link below, try it out, and let's jump on to the next one. All right, so next up we have Opus Clip, one of the more popular platforms. If I come into here and I go to my projects, I've already uploaded this. This took only around 10 minutes or so to turn into clips automatically. The interface is pretty good. I mean, I don't like it as much as Vizard, but it gives you a nice little list here, and you can click to expand, see the transcript. I did find that Opus Clip's quality score, just like it does for Vizard, is pretty dang accurate. So Opus, it gave me a total of 28 clips, and 5 of those were usable. So one less than Vizard, but that's about 18%. So it still does a pretty dang good job. And I did find that most of the videos that I found useful were within the top, I think probably 10 or 12. So if I come in here, I can just edit one of these. Let's kind of see what it looks like. Pretty similar to Vizard. If we want to take this out, we can highlight it, hit undo. If I want to bring it in, it would undo. If I want to take this out, I could highlight it and then hit delete, and it's going to edit out there. And I like how it kind of highlights the text that's part of the captions.
It's a commercial office here in Phoenix, and I
also really like the default caption style it jumps in here with. If I come in here to design, I can go into auto B-roll. So I tried this, the auto B-rolls. It used some stock footage. I didn't think it was quality. Or really, the clips it provided weren't of any value. But I really like the ability to choose when to start and stop in the editor. That made a few more of the clips usable past the 5 that I found usable. Control Z works in here, so that's kind of nice. Oh, here's the finally loaded. Here's the
business, and people are coming.
B-roll footage I was mentioning. It doesn't really fit within the context of the video. You're not able to take out parts of the video from the timeline, which it would be nice if you could do that. You can split it to add in B-roll and such, but you can't really take out parts of the video here. But it will reflect wherever your cursor is in the transcript, so you can edit out from there. So a little less text features than Vizard and some of the other tools, but if you come in here, you can choose portrait, landscape, square, layout preferences, auto emojis, auto intro caption. That's kind of cool. So definitely have a lot of stuff you can do in here, but not as much as Vizard. This might be enough for most people. If you look at their pro plan that's coming out, and it's probably already out by the time you're watching this video, they've got some extra features in there as well. But anyways, I can hit save and compile, and then bam, I can export these if I want to. All I gotta do is hit download, and then bam, starts to download. And so, yeah, I'd say overall, Opus Clip, it's pretty dang good. There's enough quality clips for my social. I feel like it pulled out enough clips, but I don't know, not quite the features I was looking for compared to Vizard. Some of the features it had just seemed a little bit unnecessary or weren't like fully up to speed. But I like the interface, and I think that Opus is a big player in the AI video editing game, and so they're probably going to be improving faster than some of the other platforms. But at $19 a month, that is a pretty good bargain. So I choose Vizard over this, but this is still a really good clip. If you don't need some of the extra features that Vizard has and you just want to get through this as fast as possible, this might be enough for you. All right, on to the next one. All right, so on to Vidyo.ai. I'll tell you right out the gates, this wasn't my favorite. It's missing some features. It can be a little bit glitchy, but this is the best option for a free AI video editing tool, and I'll show you why in a second. So this is my dashboard. I've already uploaded the 45-minute podcast. All I got to do is hit review clips. It takes me in, and interface similar to Vizard, pretty easy to navigate, really fast. You can see all my clips here, but here's some of the things that I didn't really like about it. First off, 34 clips is way too many for me. I was able to get 5 out of 34, so almost the same as the other platforms, but a lower percentage of the ones it's given me, which means that's more time I have to spend searching through videos. As you can see, it knows they're not as good quality when you're comparing to Opus or Vizard. It's only an 82 for the best ones, and then it gets worse from there, down to a 46. I'm like, why would it give me one that it knows is just that bad of quality? Some of these were really short. All of the AI, they're not perfect as where they start and stop, but I feel like Vidyo.ai was one of the worst ones when it came to abrupt endings or giving things out of context. So you can edit it to change it, but I just felt like it was doing the worst job of where to punch in and punch out. But anyways, a few of the things that I like, it does give you this chapters thing, which for me wasn't really useful, but maybe somebody else has a use case for this where they're pulling out longer snippets for YouTube. I found that they just weren't long enough to really give the context that was necessary, but you can go back and forth between the longer chapters or the short form content. You can change your template from here. So if I go back to shorts, pick one of these vertical ones, I can choose a template before I go in to edit it. So that's kind of nice. A lot of really quality templates right off the bat. And then you can save templates once you build them as well for future use. So if you're an agency doing this for multiple people, really easy to keep track of brands. You can exit, view the transcript for the video. So it is easy to see at a glance. And I like how this menu stays over here as you're scrubbing through. So it's easy to see what you're doing. You can glance at it to see if it's even worth editing. You can get a description of the video for a social if you want that. And then here's some timestamps of it. So that's kind of nice. So if we come in here to edit and download video, I'll show you kind of what I don't like about it. So this timeline's a little finicky. Spacebar only works for start and stop if you've already clicked in this area. If I'm scrubbing through the timeline and my cursor slips out, it can get a little bit glitchy. So I don't really like that. But my biggest beef with it is that it is not intuitive to edit via the subtitles or the captions. So the other ones, you can just simply highlight a sentence or a part of the paragraph. But this one's like, I'm never going to be going through all of this just to edit the video. And really, this is just for the subtitles anyways. So you really are just limited to start and stop. You can't take out parts in between, which, I mean, if it's removing that much editing capability, that's a pretty big deal breaker for me. For some people, this might be enough though. For a lot of people, this might be enough. You can also add progress bar, so which is kind of nice to, you can add a logo, add an outro, image or video to it. Add media, you can add text in here. I don't think this is as user-friendly or as intuitive as some of the others. You can add a background, so similar to Vizard, I could scale this down if I wanted and add a background color to it. So anyways, yeah, lots of flexibility, but the UI just wasn't, some of the specifics of the UI weren't quite dialed in for me, and not having a text editor was a deal breaker for me. But it is the best free option because I can download this, boom, at 720 with no watermark. And so it's the best free option. Most of the other ones don't let you do that, export at 720 without a watermark. So overall, you're going to spend a little bit more time, deciding which clips to pull. It's not as high quality clips that it's giving you, but it is a powerful AI-driven free video editing tool. All right, so here we have Munch. I had high hopes for this, but it let me down a little bit. But I want to show it to you guys anyways, just because it is one of the more popular AI video repurposing tools. So if I come in here, it gave me 30 clips, which for me personally, I think it's just a little bit too many. What I did like about this is that it's easy to filter. So they got a lot of filtering options over here. So I don't know, maybe if you're cranking through lots of video footage, this might be a good option for you. Or if you're an agency and you're just churn and burn, just trying to get out quantity over quality, you need to filter and sort through. This is a neat feature. It tells you which snippets might be suitable for different platforms, kind of uses the AI to bring up different names or brands that were mentioned, different people that were mentioned, and then specific keywords. So this keyword thing, maybe it gets better in time. I'd also do this topics as well, but it does something unique where it tells you the different keywords that were mentioned in the videos, and it tells you whether those are trending or not. That sounds really good in theory, but for me, I plan my topics and my keywords in advance before I record my content. And so I know what I'm going to repurpose. I'm not necessarily looking at content that I'm repurposing and trying to optimize that in YouTube or on social for a specific keyword. That's just not how I do my content. Maybe that works for somebody else, but doesn't really work for me. And like, besides, this video was about real estate investing. This podcast was about real estate investing. And it's given me some keywords that are a little bit all over the place, just not really super relevant for my target audience. I just didn't find that super useful, but it works well in theory. So like I said, it gave me 30 videos. It gave me, or I found about 4 of these useful out of the 30. So for me, that's just a little bit too much to sift through. But I'd say one of the pros is that it does a pretty good job of automatically giving you a description for social, which I think was better than a mediocre or untrained copywriter. So this might be better than a lot of other people could do. Decent social posting part. But honestly, my biggest issue with this was just the AI was super glitchy. Maybe this was just me. I hope it was just me, but I'm using all these different AI video editors, and this was the only one where I was consistently having issues where I'd try to edit the text and then it would freeze up for like 30 seconds at a time, sometimes with no audio. Sometimes I would just lose the ability to click, almost like my web browser was crashing. The UI, I think, just needs a lot of work. It's a little bit all over the place. It doesn't really guide you anywhere like some of the editors do. That being said, I actually would not recommend this. Too many videos. But interestingly enough, Munch is one of the top ones. So hopefully it was just me, and maybe you'll find some of these features useful. All right. So last but not least, Chopcast. There's so many AI tools out there. I debated whether even to put this one in here, because if it's not a tool I would recommend, then why even bother covering it? But here's the thing. I know that y'all are going to waste your time doing research with it. So I figured might as well cover it so I can let people know, save them some time. So I actually looked at Chopcast and another one called Choppity, but I would not recommend either of them, and I'll show you why real quick. They both just had very weird UI. If I go to edit, I wanted to like it, but I don't even understand what's happening in this whole timeline down here. I just not very intuitive. This down here makes it look like it's different clips of different sections of this clip, but those are actually different projects. So it's really easy to accidentally go to another project within the tool. The main thing, so I'm not even going to get into how to edit them. The main thing is this gave me 10 clips and actually 0 of them were usable. The start and stop points were just very odd. These quality scores are not accurate. It wasn't starting and stopping, punching in and out at points that made sense. It was lacking a lot of context. The captions were not great. A lot of typos from the AI. It just wasn't very good, so I wouldn't recommend. And then Choppity, this one was not as bad as far as quality. It had like 1.5 clips out of 10 that were usable. The UI was just crazy glitching out on me. Taking long times to load, lots of time spent waiting on like buffering and loading as I'm doing right now. Would not recommend either of those, so I'm not going to put my link in the description for either of these. So you've probably already decided which one of these tools you're going to use, if you're going to use any of them. But let me just tell you my 2 cents and where I landed. So the consensus is, for me, Vizard is the best AI video repurposing tool out there at the time of recording this. It was easily the most fun to use, the easiest to use, and it produced the most usable snippets or clips. It was the highest quality, and really that's what matters to me at the end of the day. And with that, I would say that Opus and Vidyo are close second and third at the time of recording this. Now, of course, all these companies are putting in new features on probably a monthly basis, and there's new companies popping up every day, but these are the leaders, and there's specific reasons why I picked these editing tools. Far and away, I think Vizard is the best one to go if you want an AI repurposing tool. But here's where I landed. At the end of the day, for what I do and my brand, for me, it makes sense to keep using a human video editor, at least right now, and here's why. The consensus with all of the AI apps, even with Vizard, which I really liked, was that they lacked the context. See, they were all focused on pulling one snippet of a piece of long form content, aka they were not editing enough out. And what I mean is they weren't crafting a snippet. At least at this point in time, it still takes a real human being to grab the pieces that go with that snippet to give it the full context and make it make sense and make it digestible while still being short form content. That's a hard thing to do, and I don't think AI has caught up quite yet. So for my brand, my conversations, my topics, what I'm doing, it seems like the AI just doesn't have enough context or skill at this point in time. So for me, it makes sense to use a human, but I can see where somebody might get a better value out of this. Maybe your content is a little more simple, maybe the topics are more digestible, and maybe you'll get a better value out of using an AI repurposing tool because it's better than not repurposing at all. And that's totally valid. But there's two things you got to realize when you're passing off your editing to any AI tool. One, you're still going to have to sift through all of the content, or at least somebody is, and that takes time. So why not have a human do it at 2 to 3 times speed? That's where you just have to decide, is this a good value for you? Is this better than nothing? And then secondly, I think that I actually know from throwing this podcast into the tools, because I recorded this podcast, that it is leaving out some of the gold nuggets that myself or a skilled video editor would have pulled out. So you just have to be okay with, in some sense, blindly trusting the AI and think that it's pulling the best snippets, even though it's going to leave some of those gold nuggets buried in the long form content. So for me, since I'm not a churn and burn content editor and I don't put quantity above quality, it makes sense to use a human video editor and then use these AI tools to speed up the process, to use it as a tool rather than replace the creative decision-making abilities that an editor has. So if you need videos edited or repurposed on an ongoing basis and you want a dedicated video editor and you want them fast, you want fast turnaround times, and you want consistent quality, then I would highly consider Video Husky. They've made a lot of changes over the past few years, so even if you've used them before, they're worth checking out. They've got much better processes and pricing and a lot of add-ons to make life really easy if you're getting video editing done consistently. The funny thing is they actually edited this video that you're watching right now and the video right here in the description about my full new recent review of Video Husky for editing. So if you want a dedicated video editor that is fast, super easy to work with, and dependable and pumps out quality content, then click the link in the description to try Video Husky. And if you want to use any of the AI tools I mentioned, like Vizard and this video or the other ones, then click the link in the description and I'll get a tiny little commission or kickback in return for making this content to help you make an informed decision. So I hope you found this video valuable. If you did, drop a comment, leave a question, whatever you want, and do yourself, do your fellow human beings a favor. Keep making high quality content that brings real value to real human beings. Don't just post more noise to the internet because it's so easy to do with all these tools and all of this content. It's easy to add more noise to a noisy world. So make content that is valuable for people, that changes their life. Keep it up. We'll see you next time.